and spell your name. Go right ahead.
Okay, Zoe Weinrobe, Zoeweinrobe.
And your title here.
Chief of Real Estate at Two Life Communities.
Gotcha. All right, so explain to me, what are we standing in right now? What is this building?
We are standing here today in Leland Home, Two Life, one of our newest buildings, 68 units, 100% affordable, and our first all-electric passive house certified building.
What was here before it?
This is the former home of actually the Leland Home for Aged Women, a former rest home that was here since the 1800s. So the property has been an affordable housing resource for low-income seniors since its inception in the 1880s.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about the old place versus the new place. What were the issues with the old place? What were you looking for with this new place?
Sure. Because this building, the original Leland Home was built in the 1880s, it had very minimal accessibility features, and so there were lots of ramps and stairs, and really sort of not great universal sort of design and accessibility issues. It was also a 28-bed rest home, so they were just individual bedrooms with very little accessibility. Very few of the rooms actually even had their own bathrooms, no kitchens, and some lovely common spaces. But it really was designed for another time. And one of our goals with the new Leland House was really bringing the affordable housing resource in this community to today's standards in terms of environmental standards, sustainability, and accessibility and affordability. We were also able to more than double the amount of affordable housing units that we were providing here on the site when it was a 28-bed rest home to a 68-unit new construction passive house building.
Wow, if I have you just push your hair back just a little bit where the mic
Oh,
is.
sorry.
You're good? Yep, perfect, just like that. And so I guess my question is, why was it important for you guys to not just build another building? Why really think about how to do it, I guess, the right way
Yep.
or the safest way? Why was that important for you guys?
So at Two Life, one of the big goals. Well, so we have two overarching missions with our affordable housing development practice. One, addressing loneliness and isolation and income instability. And Massachusetts is one of the most expensive states for seniors to age in, and we know loneliness and isolation are more detrimental to seniors' health than cigarette smoking or cardiac disease. So with our real estate development practice, we're always thinking about how can we address those two issues of income instability and loneliness and isolation with our development work. And by creating beautiful community spaces where people can come down outside of their apartments and participate in community, that is critical to combating that loneliness and isolation. And by creating deeply affordable housing with lots of project-based subsidy, allows seniors to stay with us even as their sort of income and assets most likely shrink over time. They're able to stay here affordably, hopefully for the rest of their life.
What have residents said about this building?
The amount of positive responses we've gotten from residents, even when we were marketing the building in 2024, has been just absolutely unbelievable. I mean, people talk about this building changing their life, saving their life. This is like winning the lottery coming to live here. I mean, we even hear stories about people not even needing to turn on their heat in the winter because the building is so energy efficient and tight that they barely need to turn on their heat. So it's the response that we've gotten both from people who live here and people in the community has just been absolutely overwhelming.
Has this building has it exceeded expectations in any way?
In every single measure, this building has exceeded our expectations. We've not one person has left since we opened the building in 2024. So we've had zero turnover of apartments. Our energy overall and utility consumption is the lowest. It's the lowest of any building in Two Life's portfolio. So this building is super energy efficient. We're saving money. We actually just put solar panels up on the roof, so it's going to get even better next year. And I mean, it turned out so beautifully. I mean, the design, the feel, the vibe, the overall just sort of feeling from the minute you walk in the door has just been absolutely incredible.
I can ask her what it was like working with Eversource. All right. What was it like working with Eversource?
Eversource has been a great partner. I mean, this again is our first all-electric building, so I think we were somewhat anxious about the overall utility exposure and our electricity bills going on. But we've been really, I think everything we were able to keep, there was no issues getting the buildings the right service, the amount of service coming into the building and keeping the building on time, and also getting the solar panels up on the roof last year was a bit of a challenge, but we got there, and I think Eversource has been a great partner. I should also say we're also this building was also the recipient of passive house incentives through the Mass Save program, of which Eversource is a key partner. And so the financing on the building would not have worked without those Mass Save passive house incentives.
If you could say Eversource, what's
sorry.
the language? You're good. You're good.
You were so close to nailing
Yes.
it. If you could just say Eversource, a sponsor of Mass.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, you were so close.
So if I could have you say Eversource, a sponsor of Mass Save, was such a big help.
Eversource, a sponsor of the Mass Save program, was a huge help to this project. The incentives that we received through the Passive House program were fundamental to making the financing work.
How many other buildings in your portfolio do you have?
We have over 1,800 units across 11 different properties throughout the greater Boston area.
And out of all those units, this facility is the most efficient.
And out of all of those buildings, this property has the lowest utility costs and consumption.
Is that surprising to you?
It's surprising, and to be honest, surprising is good, but it's thrilling. I mean, as an affordable housing owner, operator, provider, the operating costs are critical. Are critical to making our projects, the financing of these projects, work. And so whatever we can do to keep those utility costs and their consumption as low as possible is so fundamental to our work. Any dollars that we're not spending using to support our electricity or gas or water costs are actually going to allow us to provide more services for our residents in the building. So it truly has such a huge impact. Every dollar we save improves our ability to provide services in our buildings.
Would you work with Eversource again?
We would absolutely work with Eversource again, and we are working with Eversource on many projects in Two Life's pipeline.
Perfect. My last question before I look at my notes is if another organization like yours is on the fence about creating a building like this and working with Eversource, what would you tell them?
I would say come see the fruits of this partnership in practice. We are absolutely always talking. We're really a big member of many different groups through the NESI program or larger energy sort of cohorts, talking about ways to improve the sustainability of our buildings, and we love talking about the work we're doing at Two Life to address these issues that are not really just about this individual building, but sort of lowering our carbon footprint overall across our portfolio.
And at the end of the day, what do you hope residents get out of this whole kind of experience?
I mean, to be honest, my goal is that residents move into Leland House and feel, one, physically the building is a safe, wonderful place where they're proud to live, and also really comfortable, and they're getting the services they need and hopefully living with us for the rest of their lives.
Anything else that I missed? I'm going to look at the notes.
Yeah, me too.
All right, you did fantastic. Nicely done.
I'm a fast talker,
You're
so
good.
hopefully I didn't too fast.
How many properties you manage? You answered that. Your mission, you answered that.
One thing I did not talk about was that residents don't pay their utilities, and it's a fundamental part of our operating model.
Go right
Okay.
ahead. All right. So do residents pay their utilities? And if not, how does that work?
So a really important aspect of Two Life's operating model is for our residents to move in and not have to worry about paying their heating bill or electricity bill and balance that against food, or medicine. So we at 2 Life, all utilities are included in people's rent. So that means we, as the property owner, are that much more incentivized to really focus on the sustainability of our buildings, because we know every penny that we save on having a really efficient, tight, well-performing building saves us, on our operating costs, which allows us to then spend that money on additional services in the building.
Good stuff there. All right.
Can we talk about like how you initially found out about these energy efficiency programs?
Yes. So at 2 Life, we've been for many, many years working on all of the different and really sort of trying to push the envelope on our sustainability planning, both in our existing buildings and our new construction work. So, whether or not it's working on, incentives for, replacing a boiler or a hot water system in our building, or looking at programs to put in solar. And so we work, with different consultants, whether or not it's a group like New Ecology, who's really been a fantastic partner on many of our developments, basically helping connect us to different rebates and incentive programs, or our design team, or others in the community. But we are laser focused on our operating expenses, and so we're always trying to figure out ways that we can really address our sustainability through a variety of different measures with different program partners.
Bring up the phone again. What else do we have? Do you know, because I know you said this is your most efficient building out of all of your portfolio. Do you know, is it more efficient by 20%? Do you have any numbers, like a more than number?
Well, I do know, according to some analysis we did recently, that our electricity costs or electricity consumption in this building is about half of the national standard for multifamily buildings, and that just it's important to note that we have domestic hot water. Our electricity, our domestic hot water system is electric too, and so very few of those other buildings that we're comparing ourselves to have all electric heating, cooling, and domestic hot water. So we're thrilled when we figured out that statistic.
Anything else? Think that I missed? Answer.
Can we just get a quick soundbite about how the public funding combined with the incentives from Eversource helped make the project possible?
Sure. So the affordable housing delivery system works through using both federal, state, local, and incentive programs to build your capital stack to fund these projects. So we are a non-for-profit. We are constantly going out and looking at every available funding source to support this affordable housing work. And then we know the deeper the affordability of the building, often that means that we just need to find that additional, sort of capital funds to help support the construction costs. So an incentive like the passive house incentives here in Massachusetts are just so critical to closing those financing gaps.
Thank you so much.
Anything else? Fantastic.
Okay.
Nicely
Okay.
done.
Well,